Hi everybody, how we all doing? Before we get to the reaction video, I want to apologize very quickly for this awful audio. I knew it was not going to be great, but holy crap, I did not expect it to be that dog crap. It is actually freaking garbage. I used a recording app because my Streamlabs did not work. I used my microphone and internal audio, so just want to apologize for that. If you want to watch this, hope y'all enjoy. I'm sorry the audio is terrible. just enjoy the video. What is up, everybody? How are we all doing tonight? Hope y'all are having a wonderful Wednesday, March 25th. This is not a review video, rather. This is a reaction video of one of my favorite Nerf YouTubers of all time, Tessera's Nerf Room. Well, now it's Tessera's Blaster House. I followed him for 3 years, almost 4. Subscribe to his channel. Y'all should check him out. He is underrated. But this is a reaction video of the DartZone Delta Pro. He got his hands on it, and I actually talked about it on my Valentine's Day video, revealing some Nerf news thanks to Wacom S7. The Delta Pro, if you don't know about it, if you just want to know about it now before I get to the reaction video, is a top prime 6-round revolver, and it's basically a pro strong arm disruptor, but I like to compare it to the DartZone Blitzfire, because if you've been on the channel for a while, you probably know millions of times that the DartZone Blitzfire is absolutely my favorite foam dart flinging pistol of all time, one of my favorite blasters of all time. This is my third favorite blaster of all time. I love the Blitzfire, so I'm going to be comparing this thing to a lot in this reaction video. So without further ado, we're just going to get to it. I'm going to go to my screen recording app, and we're just going to get right to it. So I'll see you there. Alright, here we go. Like the thumbnail. Yeah, it definitely looks a lot like a Blitzfire, but pro, blue, and orange. And ironically enough, I said that I had every single DartZone Blitzfire. No, I don't, because I am missing the Canada exclusive DartZone Dino Blitz, which is basically a Blitzfire, but blue and red. And it comes with a scope, a Dino themed scope, which is actually quite cool. But here we go, and it looks a lot like the version 1 Blitzfire, not like the version 2. But here we go.
OMG, guys! It's the DartZone Delta Pro! This is the greatest blaster in history! It's the greatest thing to ever exist! Is what nobody is saying right now, because everybody is too focused on the Axis Switch Pro to even notice the fact that the Delta Pro also came out.
I saw Wacom's review, or not Wacom, yeah, I saw Wacom's live stream. It was March 11th, and then I saw his review, which was the 20th, on the Axis Pro. That thing is rad. But I still knew that this thing existed, and I'm so excited to see what this is. This is the first time I'm ever seeing this blaster function, by the way, so thank you for uploading this review and showing this blaster to us, Tessera's Blaster House. I want to say Tessera's Nerf Room so badly, because I used to call him that so much, but now it's Blaster House, but hey.
Which is kind of sad, because I got this thing, and holy crap, do I like it a lot. Let's get into it.
I love this intro. This is a funny intro. You kill it with this one.
I got a film today!
That's the best part.
Come on, we gotta go! So, the Delta Pro is a 2026 release out of DartZone in their Adventure Force Pro series, which means it's only available at Walmart, which sucks because Walmart really sucks at getting anything done correctly. But I digress. I was able to get this blaster, and after testing it, I have come to the conclusion that it's probably going to be one of the most underrated blasters this year. But more on that later. We have to talk about the actual design first, and I think this might actually be my favorite sidearm design that DartZone has ever put out. It's just, nothing is wrong. Everything is right. It's just, it looks fantastic. I love this angle.
I think it looks really good. It looks like a futuristic kind of space aesthetic blaster. Once again, I'm not really good at explaining detail that well, but it looks so clean. Like, it looks like a Blitzfire mixed in with a disruptor a little bit, mixed in with just, it looks so good. It's so hard to wrap my head of what it's exactly trying to be like compared to other blasters, but it looks fantastic. It literally looks like a futuristic Blitzfire, but in pro form, and just turned up to a 12, or an 11, or a 25, or a 1. It's literally turned up to a 1, or a 2, or a 3, or an 11, or a 12, or 25. It looks freaking amazing.
It just goes between the trigger. It is so good. Even the cylinder is like dual molded with these different colors of plastic in there.
Look at that.
The light blue and the white and the orange just feels so welcoming. It's just a nice color palette. It's a pleasing one to look at.
I've never really seen blasters that look like that. I mean, I have, but barely.
Friendly looking pastel, but it's also like, I mean, this still kind of looks like a laser gun from the 80s or something like that.
It looks like a laser tag blaster. Is it just me? Or it looks like a laser tag blaster? I don't mind. It really reminds me of a laser tag blaster. And fun fact, I'm going to make this quick. I used to have a Laser Ops Alpha Point, 2 of them, because back then, when my mom was alive in 2020, she bought a pack of 2 for me and my brother, and we had an absolute blast with them. I would love to get one just to have one in my collection for the memories.
Blaster, and
that reminds me a lot of the Alpha Point.
One on the bottom and one on the top. That also serves as a...
If anybody has an Alpha Point, please let me know in the comments. I'm just curious if any of y'all have one or have any great memories. Y'all do not need to give it to me. I'm just curious if any of y'all have one. I love that blaster.
Spot for the iron sight, which slides back and forth and proves to be a very fun and satisfying fidget toy. But more
it looks like a fidget toy.
I just love this blaster. No paint, all just plastic shell molds, and it looks absolutely amazing. You might have noticed the N-Strike stock attachment point, but we'll talk about that more in a minute. What about the ergonomics? This blaster features a main grip and a top prime with
that grip looks comfortable.
Point, but again, we'll address that.
It looks exactly like the Blitzfire's grip.
Just a moment. The main grip here feels exactly like the Blitzfire X2's.
Oh my gosh, what did I just say? He mentioned it. I was waiting for him to mention the Blitzfire. Oh, thank you. Let's go. That's what I'm trying to say. It feels exactly like the version 2, not the version 1, but the version 2 Blitzfire's grip.
Not the original one, but the newer, updated version. In terms of the angle, it is very swept back, almost as much as the rough cuts, which the rough cuts work because it's kind of a sawed-off shotgun. This thing is more of a compact pistol, and yet it has this very angular swish and swoopy grip. It feels a little bit jumpy.
I like how I'm holding my Blitzfire while reacting to this review.
It's very strange, but I like the shape. I like the angles, and overall it's a very comfortable grip. Even though I do think that this back end is a little bit too flat, it kind of presses against the webbing of your hand right there enough to cause cramps after a really long time, but most grips do that in some capacity anyway. This is one of the rare examples where I actually noticed it during using, but that's also because, I mean, this thing shoots pretty dang hard for what it's doing.
That's what she said.
Surprisingly, it has a pretty smooth prime, but more on that
That's
later.
what she said.
The priming handle up here, it feels normal. It's got this kind of backstop, but it's more so just like a lot of plastic right here to kind of have an art.
It looks a little bit like the Blitzfire, but like other top prime grips like Disruptor, the Strong Arm. It looks quite nice. It does look comfortable. If I do get my hands on that, I'll definitely comment on that.
Official wall that your hand crashes into, but it's also curved, so your hand will just slide
nice
over.
Backstop.
So you actually have to grip onto the top slide pretty tightly, and it feels okay.
I mean, if you have sweaty hands, I don't know if your hands are going to slip off the grip. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully they don't.
It's besides the point. The trade-off is that it looks fantastic, and it doesn't really do too much. So how does it work? Well, it is a pump-action 6-dart internal cylinder-fed Springer. So you take up to 6 half-length darts, and you just front-load them into the cylinder. The cylinder is not removable. It does not pop out. It does not switch out. The blaster is not break action like some people were hoping, but it's just an internal cylinder.
It kind of looks like it would take full length, though.
But then you do that, you can manually just rotate the cylinder to access all 6 barrels. You pull the top slide back, you push the top slide forwards. It does not have a spring return, and then you can pull the trigger to fire once. And this blaster doesn't have slam fire. Let's talk about the trigger and this.
Okay, I've noticed a difference. Unlike the Blitzfire, when you pull the trigger, it does not rotate the cylinder. Because on the Blitzfire version 1 and version 2, when you pull the trigger, it auto-rotates the cylinder. This is kind of similar to the Strong Arm or Disruptor, where you prime it from the when you prime it, it rotates the cylinder. That's also on the Elite Spectre, because I used to have the Spectre, but I gave it to somebody else. The Blitzfire also does the same thing as the Maverick. So think of Maverick / Blitzfire version 1 and 2, where you pull the trigger and the cylinder rotates. So this is different, but I do like that. Some people might like that. Some people might not like that. I am perfectly fine with it.
Operation. Rotating the cylinder, unfortunately, is not a very smooth experience because there is a lot of plastic going on around the cylinder. You kind of have to catch your finger on the top of this barrel and pull it down, and then your finger gets smushed here if you push your finger too far back. This kind of white wall keeps that from happening, but yeah, trying to rotate it upwards is a little bit easier, but you're going to naturally want to pull it down, so it's kind of a hit or miss aspect, I guess. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it definitely does take a bit more finagling to rotate this cylinder than something like a Disruptor or a Strong Arm where the cylinder is freely accessible. Pulling the slide back is interesting because it's squeaky.
Ooh. Okay, that might be a downside for me. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of squeaky primes on blasters. Okay, if it feels squeaky, but still quite smooth and not all ratchety and dirty, I get that, but I don't know about that. The Blitzfire's prime, I think I still like more.
Throughout my testing, it didn't really squeak when I just pulled it back. It's a pretty smooth pullback, and it's actually a very, very light pullback. It does click when it gets to the forward position, so you can't deprime it. And it actually, similarly to older Nerf blasters, has a trigger lock that keeps you from pulling the trigger when you are holding onto the priming handle. So you can't even loose prime it to just actuate the cylinder, which is weird. And it's the only DartZone blaster I can think of that does this that's been made in the last 7 years. Pulling the trigger feels very normal. It's actually pretty snappy trigger pull, though I do think it could use a little bit more lubricant because it does seem to kind of get hung up right before it actuates it. But yeah, it's a very normal and regular feeling blaster. Let's see it fire.
I like the stock attachment point.
Loading.
Aha. Aha. So, as of y'all know, the Nerf Mega Series is my favorite series, and I have 12 blasters. There are 5 more that I need to complete the entire collection. I need the Thunderbow, the Lightning Bow, the Roto Fury, the Bulldog, and the Hot Shock. I see the Roto Fury, the Lightning Bow, and the Thunderbow there. And you know, it's funny, I saw all 5 of those blasters in thrift store runs for years, and I have not picked them up, and I feel guilty of doing that. But you know what? I'm glad I haven't, because the journey can still go on. Who knows if I'll ever complete it.
Mod potential is very high. It doesn't have slam fire, which means the mechanism is already simpler than something
Neither the Blitzfire has slam fire,
like a Strong Arm, which
but I'm fine with that.
had a horrifically botched mechanism.
I don't really use slam
fire.
fire.
Something that I can appreciate. The stock attachment point is weird. It does seem like a last-second afterthought that they threw in because they wanted an excuse to have this thing sticking out of it. And I guess you could make an argument that DartZone stocks are meant to work on the DartZone stock attachment point, but most Nerf stocks do not work on this stock attachment point. And I mean, it's a stock attachment point. It's the same shape and everything.
Okay, I don't want to be that guy. I know a lot of people probably asked for this, but I'm one of the only, I feel like I'm one of the only people who did not want a stock attachment point on this blaster. I get it. You know, it's goofy, it's funny, and cool. But like, at the same time, it feels off to me. It feels off. I don't really like the stock attachment point on there. Maybe that's just a me thing. That's just a me thing. Maybe I'm just too used to the Blitzfire.
Thing. The problem is the priming handle. It comes very close to the stock attachment point, to the point where even a Retaliator stock gets hung up and prevents you from being able to
That's one of the reasons why.
Prime this blaster.
It does not make sense at all.
Almost works, but it still doesn't. And the reason for that is because of this thing right here. It gets in the way and you can't prime the blaster around the stock. Otherwise, it would be the perfect shape. So I reckon something like the Thunderbolt stock or things like that would
I do
work
not
just
like the
fine,
stock attachment
but
point.
it is
I'm
very
sorry,
strange how they have this priming handle come so close to the stock attachment point. They could have just not added the stock attachment point and caused this unnecessary issue.
It's just a waste of space. It's very unnecessary. I don't know about a waste of space, but I don't like it. I apologize. But seriously, overall, my opinion on this blaster is just absolutely awesome, and I cannot wait to pick this thing up and compare it to the Blitzfire. Okay, Blitzfire is completely different in some ways, because it does not shoot pro performance, it's full length darts, but I cannot wait to pick up the Delta Pro. I cannot wait. Absolutely cannot wait. I love this blaster. 2 pieces. As I say, the Blitzfire is 100% not the best pistol ever. It's my favorite, absolutely, personally and subjectively, but objectively, it's not. It's still a fantastic blaster, but there are pistols way better than it, I gotta admit. But that's probably still gonna, Delta Pro is probably gonna be one of my favorite pistol vaults. I'm serious. I can't wait to pick it up.
Can't prime the blaster around the stock, otherwise it would be the perfect shape. So I reckon something like the Thunderbolt stock or things like that would work just fine, but it is very strange how they have this priming handle come so close to the stock attachment point. They could have just not added the stock attachment point and caused this unnecessary issue, where you're kind of almost forced to buy the DartZone extended buffer tube stock thing to put bigger springs in it in order to use the stock attachment point at all, because the number of stocks that work on this is so low that I don't even know if I have one that fits. So I haven't been able to test it with the stock attachment point at all. What you can do is put a scar muzzle or B-car on the front of it, and doing so is a rather normal experience. It is one where you'd have to take the insert out if you're using the Nexus Pro X B-car, because it fits over the internal.
I have the X-Shot piston pump B-car. I could use that on there.
Rather than the other way around. But what I think is really fun is when you do this, pulling the trigger causes it to move. Because just like the DartZone Outlaw, when you pull the trigger, it slides the whole barrel back to create a seal around the cylinder.
Oh, okay.
And that means anything connected to the barrel also moves. So you get this fun little effect of having the barrel move back and forth every time you fire the blaster,
I like that.
which is hilarious and actually pretty fun to watch, even from the blaster's perspective. It's very silly,
funny.
and it's just a fun little detail.
I like it.
So overall, what do I think of the Delta Pro? For $13, it kind of doesn't do anything wrong. I mean, there are certain things about it that do feel a bit half-baked, like the stock attachment point
okay, I want that
there
thing.
in the first place, and the fact that for some reason, if you pull the trigger back, you can't prime the blaster. It prevents you from actually priming it, like the catch is moving up in the way. And I don't understand why it's like that. It doesn't really seem normal for it to be like that.
Yeah.
But the actual blaster and the value that you get, this shoots 120 FPS, and the prime is really light. It feels like a strong arm. It feels almost exactly like a strong arm. It feels like the DartZone Blitzfire. It does not feel like it.
Once again, thank you very much for mentioning the DartZone Blitzfire in this video. Seriously.
Should be shooting 120 FPS, but it does. It shoots hard. In fact, I almost think that it shoots harder than 120 because it doesn't seem like it's shooting 120. It seems like it is shooting higher numbers closer to the 150 mark. Out of this thing, for $13, it's a cylinder-fed
I love it.
top prime springer that shoots like performance ranges with short darts for under $15. It's less than 15. It's $13 for
This is going to be up there with the Blitzfire, guys, or maybe second.
Pretty dang nice build quality.
Because I don't know if I choose this or the Blitzfire. It's so hard because the Blitzfire is just, I love that thing to pieces. But $13 for a pro level short dart blaster that shoots 130 FPS, 20 or 50, just... Oh, I can't wait. Woohoo!
I think DartZone is really starting off strong this year.
They are.
I don't think that it is fair to ignore this blaster just because the Axis Switch Pro is super popular.
Please do
because
not.
This thing in and of itself is a really good value, and I think it's definitely one that if you see it, you should pick up if you're interested in having a pro strong arm blaster like this. So with all that said, if you want to get this blaster, I'll link it in the description below. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Okay, and that is my reaction video of the review, the DartZone DartZone Delta Pro. I know I usually say this in my intro, but I'm actually, like I said in my intro, hope everybody has a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, depending where you are in the world. It is the night of March 25th. And that is it, everybody. Thank y'all very much for watching this video. I will see you on the next one. As always, keep on nerfing. Let me know in the comment section if you want me to do more reaction videos like this. And, yeah, goodbye.